My name's Alex, and my guilty pleasure is sucking dick.
Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. We back.
We're back again.
Okay, so guys, today, well, first of all, before we jump in, make sure you join us on YouTube as a YouTube member, and also on Patreon or on Patreon, patreon.com/the SaVeg podcast. But today we wanted to discuss our new Love is Blind.
Oh, God. Well, okay. So, as you guys know, for Love is Blind, we've been doing it for,
we've been doing an episode talking about it.
Every year for the last 7 seasons.
Every season.
And the last season that we were just watching, there's 3 of us, we have a group chat with our friend in the UK as well. And this last season was unwatchable. None of us could watch it all the way through. And we're just like, you know what, we need to find a new show, a new trash TV show, something that we can, watch. And our friend in the UK recommended, she's like, you guys, you have to watch this show. It's ridiculous, but also you can't look away. And what's the show, Rose?
It's called Temptation Island.
Ooh.
So apparently this was actually a show, an older reality show from before. So I think this is the third season. They brought it back.
Right.
So we're going to talk about Temptation Island today and our thoughts, because we've got many. Okay? We've got many thoughts, and we're gonna
spoilers.
There will be spoilers, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched it and you want to watch it first, and then come back and you can listen to this podcast. If you don't want to watch it, you can still listen to this podcast, but there will be spoilers. Goddamn.
But before we dive into that, Rose, did you have a few?
We have a few stories to discuss.
We do.
A few quick stories.
I'm in the state of the goddamn world right now.
So one good news is, remember the whole South Korean president martial law craziness that happened? I guess it was 4 months ago.
Yeah, wow, that long ago already?
I know. What the fuck?
Where's the time going?
You know what? I was literally just thinking, how the fuck is it already literally April?
Yeah.
Hello, where did Q1 go? And it's funny how in January we're like, why is January
the longest month?
Yeah. And then after January it was time just came with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And was let's just fast forward through the rest of the year.
Well, because even the South Korea, everything going on in South Korea, I feel like we talked about it last month.
I know. But it's been 4 months now. So basically the South Korean president declared martial law just randomly on a random fucking day.
Yeah.
And it was basically very illegal what he did. And there was a lot of other factors and a lot of other so obviously they investigated the situation, and it was very, very sinister. He was really trying to take down the government, and even I think there was even some assassination plots. So just a lot of craziness. So this all came out. So the guy was but the thing, I don't know anything about impeachment, but I guess you have to say that because he was impeached before.
But maybe they announce it and they have to do the investigation, and then following the investigation, they could actually be.
So I guess this is him getting arrested, and then later you have the trial.
Yeah.
So basically, he was impeached initially, because obviously what he did was highly illegal. And then he got impeached, and then they were like, okay, now let's do the trial. So they gathered all this information. They were doing all the trials, and actually, finally. And then, of course, the opposition, the people that support him are Trumpers, right? They'll always support him no matter what. No matter, he could fucking probably kill someone's baby and they'd be like, oh, still, love you so bad.
There was a reason he had to do it.
Exactly.
For China.
So with this guy also, the people that support him, are basically, unwavering support.
Yeah.
But because so many people, and obviously all the evidence, and so many people are telling, so many people are protesting and all that stuff, he did eventually get actually impeached and is removed from office. So, yeah.
That's good news.
That is very good news.
I do think, on a personal level, I find this interesting, and we talked about this before on the podcast, because I feel like some of these leaders, they almost garner a cult-like following.
Yes.
And I've always wondered, and we talked about this when we talked about some of the cults we've talked about on this podcast as well, and how somebody can go down that rabbit hole. And then there's people that eventually break out of the cult, and they're like, oh my God, I was brainwashed and blah, blah, blah. And I just wonder, how, especially with political leaders and stuff, how it seems to happen. And you get this like, and it sounds like the South Korean former president now had this kind of same following, similar to Trump, where these people are doing things that like you see it on the outside and you're like, what the fuck are these people doing? Yet you have these people that are like supporting them no matter what.
I think it's also, part of it is, especially with Trump, I think it's like very much like cult following, exactly where you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly if this situation is cult following. It could be. I don't know that much about the climate, but I do know that in Korea, just like in the US and a lot of other places, it's very like divided, right? So you're very like you're loyal to your party, like no matter what, especially those conservatives. Like at least like with like I don't know, because like I criticize fucking people, the left wing parties all the time. And so I always acknowledge that they're never perfect. But like some of these conservative parties, it's almost like they get this cult like mentality where it's like, I'm going to support my party like
no matter what.
No matter what.
And it's ironic because like even like not exactly comparing the South Korean former president, and I'm going to continue to call him
former president
to Trump, but it's like even when they get elected based on certain promises that they make to people, and then their policies do something completely different.
Yes,
the people still follow them. They're still supporting them. I'm like, guys, what the fuck?
It's like sometimes they show you who you are, but also they do things opposite of what they say. Yeah, like Trump, for example. Oh, hello, we're gonna bring down. Initially, his like thing was like, his main campaign, I'm going to bring down the cost. Cost of groceries. Cost of living. I'm going to bring down the price of eggs. Apparently, price of eggs, I have no idea how much they are because we don't buy eggs, but price of eggs.
Apparently, they've skyrocketed.
And then so he said that all along his campaign, and then he won the presidency. And literally the day he won the presidency, he's like, oh, well, I can't promise that the prices will go down like immediately, even though that's literally what he campaigned on. He's like, I'm going to bring down the prices on day one. And then he's like, it's going to take some time. And then people are like, it'll take some time. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's like, now it's like, oh, now the prices are going up. And they're like, well, he didn't really like promise that prices were going to go down. We're like,
so crazy.
That's literally what he ran on, you motherfucking stupid bitch.
And it's what you voted on because you're pissed off with how expensive everything's getting.
At some point, you're going to have to start using that, brain of yours, how little of it is left.
Honestly, with a lot of people that I see, like not all Republicans, obviously, but like even like you look at like the Candace Owens of the world and these types.
I do love using Candace Owens as the example.
She's the poster child. Like literally everything she does, or like there'll be a story that comes out on her that she would have done something the week before and she's completely hypocritical. And it's like, you know what? She will, while it benefits them, they're happy with it. As soon as it impacts them in some way, shape, or form, they're no longer happy with it. I don't know. It's just,
no, it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Especially in the conservative world, because it's like, until it happens to them,
yeah,
they will support whatever, like, they will support the policies. And then it's like, if abortion is a great example, like a lot of people that were pro-life, suddenly they start having complications with their pregnancy and they have to have some kind of, early abortion or whatever. And they're realizing it's having issues, right? Because abortion isn't just, oh, hello, I want to terminate my pregnancy.
Exactly.
It's a lot more complicated.
You could have a high-risk pregnancy.
Exactly. Or when you have really strict abortion laws, what happens often is the doctor sometimes has to make a decision, like if the woman's life is at risk, then they have to be like, oh, okay, so the woman, they have to like make that choice.
Yeah.
But if you have really strict laws, then they might just not be comfortable performing the abortion, because then they're going to get their license taken away. So then the people that, have to experience these, abortions, all of a sudden, oh, now I'm pro-choice because now I understand. Why do you have to go through something to understand? Why can't you just look at someone and be like, okay, I understand the situation, even though I'm not in your situation?
Yeah, another perfect example, which I think is always, I find this like hilarious, but also so pathetic, is businesses when they're like, during the good times, they don't want to pay any tax, right? They're always like trying to move money around and they're like, they just don't want to pay their fair share of tax, right?
You mean like rich people and giant corporations?
Basically, yes. And then the second, but this particularly applies to like big corporations. The second there's some economic turmoil or something's happening, you look at the financial crisis, you look at all this other stuff, these big businesses come running to the government, begging for bailouts, being like, we're an integral part of society. We hire so many people. We're too big to fail, all this bullshit. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Appreciate that you guys need some help then. Then when the times are good, you need to reciprocate.
Fair share.
Exactly. Like, oh my God.
It's so frustrating. So anyways, so this guy was ousted, thank God. A lot of Koreans celebrated. I think some people were a bit depressed, but I don't give a fuck. So now I guess they're probably going to have an election and something.
God, so many elections happening right now, hey?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, the Canadian one's happening very soon.
Very soon. Mm-hmm. You registered to vote, Roses?
Oh, Do I have to register again?
I don't know.
Do I have to register every time? Because I voted before.
I voted like a while ago.
You may have to register every time.
I'm gonna look into it. We should look into it.
I will vote.
I wish there was like an
even though our vote is not going to fucking count toward anything. Let's
I
be
know.
honest. But I still vote.
It's still important, guys. We've learned from all of these things going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, look at Brexit. The vote was like 50.5 versus 49.
Yeah, but that was
so
an actual
close.
democratic vote for the entire country.
Yeah.
Whereas the way that our system is designed is like we're not going to win anything but conservative in this area of town.
This is very true. This is very true.
But I will still vote.
Yeah.
Because I think it's still important to get some of those numbers out there.
100%.
But yeah, and we can't get conservative government, please.
You know what? It's gonna happen. Everyone is like so mad at the Liberals right now because of there's this mad hate for Trudeau, and they're like, blaming the government, which some of it's just, some of it's not, but like around the cost of houses, inflation, and it's like this has happened globally. It's not just our government that's like doing this, But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If you're a Canadian, make sure you register to vote.
Register to vote, guys. Get out there.
Yeah, don't be sorry after.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so in next news,
And our next story.
So Trump. Okay, so first of all, the stock market did like the biggest crash since what? What was it?
Since like 2008.
Yeah. So like even comparison to COVID. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's this. They said the biggest crash since COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought it was even bigger than COVID.
No, I think it might be. I think it's on the precipice, right? So the last 2 days, Thursday, Friday, was a huge dip in the market.
Yeah.
If that continues next week, I was reading this article that said that like in order to consider it a like recession or like a depression almost, it has to be 20. It has to be 20%.
Oh,
and
okay.
Apparently, it's fallen like 17% or something. Yeah.
So it dipped. It's fallen. Okay. Yeah. So, but first of all, if you do have money invested, do not panic sell. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so there's one train of thought which I kind of think there is validity to this.
Yeah.
That Trump, he's been literally confusing everybody about these tariffs for the fucking
since he got
into office.
Yeah.
Even before he got into office, he was talking about the tariffs. And confusion and volatility that might create people to panic and sell their stocks, blah blah blah, which creates a dip in the market, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
there has been a sell-off.
There has been a sell-off. So there are people that believe, which I think I believe this slightly, is that they're trying to dip the stock market on purpose so that the rich people that Trump is friends with can go in and buy up all of the things while it's cheap. Because what they say is, if you have the money, buy it when it's cheap.
Yeah, when the price is down.
Yeah, so right now for them, the stocks are on sale.
Yeah.
So this could be he's just confusing people.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he'll pull away all the tariffs and be like, just kidding, guys, and the market will rebound.
Isn't that what he did? Even with Canada, he was like, oh yes, we're gonna do the tariffs. Oh no, we're gonna pause the tariffs. Oh yes, we're gonna do the tariffs. Oh no, we're gonna do this tariff.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I know, it's crazy. It's actually crazy.
And it's so insane the policy that he wants to do that like my only thought is like he's doing this on purpose to confuse people.
Another train of thought as to why to get these are all theories, guys.
Yeah.
But I heard this one as well. I heard that I think it's like this year, so that the U.S. obviously has a lot of debt out there.
Yeah,
a lot of money. Yeah, and they have. I can't remember the numbers. I want to say they like, and again, don't quote me on this, guys. They said like the U.S. owes like $9 trillion, and like in the next year or two, no, maybe it was more than that. Anyway, either way, a huge percentage, like we're talking trillions of dollars of debt, is due for refinancing this year. So what people are speculating with Trump doing this to impact the markets is what typically happens. And the way to think of government debt is like governments issue bonds. So if you buy a bond from the government, you're essentially loaning them the money, right? So what the theory is that because he's making the markets so volatile and uncertain, people are pulling out of the markets, out of the stock market. And what they're doing is they need a safer place to put their money. So they're putting it into bonds. Right. So they're like taking it out of the stock market and be like, you know what, let's just sit it in bonds for now until things calm down.
Right.
Well, what that does is it creates a huge demand for bonds. So it actually decreases the price of bonds, which I think it makes it cheaper for the government to then refinance.
Sure.
So all of this like financing that has to come up, they can like do it with a lower cost to the government.
Yeah.
So that's like another theory as well as to why that's
another theory I heard. Maybe this is related to that theory. Where basically it's like, okay, so the tariffs are obviously, it's a tax, right? So it's a tax on consumer goods or whatever. So because he's trying to raise those taxes instead of raising like income tax or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's going to collect money through the tariffs. And then he said he's going to pay back some of the deficit and then take out more loans. I don't know. I don't really understand. But anyway, he's doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he did was he announced something called reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah.
And he literally was like, okay, tariffs charged by the USA, and then USA discounted reciprocal tariffs. I don't even fucking understand.
So the first column is tariffs charged to the USA.
Oh, to the USA.
The
right.
first one is China.
But that's not even what it is.
I know.
So people are saying he made this list, right?
No.
And people are saying these numbers are literally the trade deficit numbers. So, or something like this, where basically...
I heard this too.
Yeah. So the trade deficit, which I don't know much about trade, but I guess like trade deficit is basically when you basically buy more than another country buys from you.
Yes.
So, of course, in a country like America, where there are over 300 million people living there, and the richest country in the world is going to have a trade deficit because you're going to buy more because you have more people with more money comparison to like fucking India and fucking China. So, yeah. And then he used that number, the trade deficit number that has nothing to do with tariffs.
That's crazy.
And he made up a tariff percentage to charge these countries based on that trade deficit number.
I know.
Guys,
It's
you
crazy.
put a fucking psychopath bozo in the fucking White House.
Do you know what the worst? You know what the worst part of this is, though?
What's the worst part?
And this is gonna be sounding pretty harsh to our listeners and stuff, but the worst part is like, told you so. Like, I know a lot of our listeners aren't the ones that voted Trump, but it's like
The people that voted.
and like, you know, I'm not gonna say any names. You have some friends and people that I know were in that kind of camp, and I'm just like, guys, like, you guys are all invested in the stock market. Look what's happening. You guys, he was talking, this tariff thing isn't new. He was talking about it before you got elected. Like, none of this should be a surprise, you know? And it's like, you literally are allowing somebody to run your country that is a liar.
Yeah.
That gets up on a podium, spitting not even fact, like literally the most random shit. And people will believe it because he's their president.
Yep.
And yet half of it's not even fucking true.
Yep.
It's insane.
So, and apparently also like in the chart had like some kind of area in Antarctica where there's literally no human inhabitants, only penguins.
Yeah.
So there's all these memes being like, oh, he wants to tariff the penguins.
Oh my God. It's crazy, guys.
Like, did you even do an ounce of research?
Yeah.
You know? So the Trump tariff drama is so bad that it has joined 3 countries in a potential alliance that we never thought would happen.
Yeah.
China, Japan, and Korea. So.
And I think this is the part where that Trump underestimated is thinking that, I think that he did think in his mind and probably his advising team and everything, they thought that a lot of countries would just follow whatever the U.S. is doing. If the U.S. puts tariffs in, they're just going to follow, including Canada, because for us, like, obviously anything the U.S. does is going to impact us more than the U.S. because we rely so heavily on them.
Yeah.
And our whole economy is like the state of California. Like, we're small in comparison. That being said, we've dug our feet in and we've held our ground, and we're like, no, we're not going to like follow. And a lot of countries are doing this. And look at, like you said,
we should.
Exactly. And like this, like you're saying, like with this, it's forcing other countries that maybe were not on the best terms or maybe historically have had a lot of drama. They're now coming together to be like, you know what? Fuck you, Trump. We're not going to deal with this bullshit. We're going to start trying to form our own alliances. Yeah.
And you know it's bad when we got China, Korea, and Japan on the same page about something.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Korea and China, I don't know how much, like, we don't understand.
Korea and Japan.
Korea and Japan and China and Japan. Okay, nobody in Asia likes Japan because the Japan did. Imperialist Japan was awful, and they did tons of horrible things to Korea and China.
Yeah.
Killed so many people. Just awful things that they never actually owned up to as a government. Yeah. They never actually took any sort of accountability. So there's still a lot of like built up like resentment, hatred, trauma, all of that. Yeah. And yet we're like, you know what? Fuck this orange man. Let's make an alliance because, you know, the economy is important.
Yeah.
So
listen to this. The state media comments came after the 3 countries held their first economic dialogue in over 5 years.
Wow.
So I guess maybe they talked a little bit in the past, but now they're coming together. So in some ways, I'm like, Trump is bringing people together.
Yeah, bringing people together. Exactly. Getting us to buy Canadian. Yeah. Getting us to, you know, support the local economy.
So in some ways, it's like, hey, this is kind of
he's
positive.
Positive change.
Yes.
And now, shall we discuss the lovely television show?
Oh,
you know what? I must say, I kind of love having the distraction of a trashy reality TV show because, you know, otherwise I'm focusing on reading the goddamn news, which is so fucking depressing.
Yeah. It's
So, do you have any other recommendations for trashy reality TV similar to Love Is Blind, similar to Temptation Island? Let me know. I will watch.
One thing I was gonna say before we dive into this, talking about all this fucking Trump shit,
Trumpian stuff. Yeah.
Because I know, like, for us in Canada as well, one of the chats is like we need to do something similar, like China, Japan, and Korea maybe coming together. Canada, China, Europe, like, you know, making new trade. I mean, they're already existing trade partners, but maybe trading more with those areas instead, and just
like changing some of the trade to a certain country instead of the US.
Exactly, cutting out the US basically, because maybe Europe bought like certain things from the US that they could buy from us, and they're like, actually, we'll take your order, and you guys don't ship out there. But the problem with one of the frustrating things or challenges with Canada is over time, because we had such a good relationship with the US, we built a lot of infrastructure, right? So like they talk about the oil industry specifically, there's actual pipelines that have been built that go to US refineries from Alberta. Like that's not something that you can just really easily divert somewhere else. These are infrastructure things, $1 billion projects, right? So that's where it's like really
difficult. It's difficult, especially because we are so close to the US.
Yeah.
That's another factor, right? For other countries, maybe it makes more sense. Right?
Yeah.
Like to have European alliances with Asia. Yeah. But for us, America makes the most sense. It's right there.
I know, and that's what's so frustrating. And even to go to like Mexico now, it's like a lot of our train lines go through the US.
And all get taxed on the way there.
I know, it's like, how is that going to work? What if we're shipping down to Mexico? Like, are we going to have to go through Vancouver Port and then ship around the US? Like,
there's this picture that I saw, and I want to show you, and I think it's kind of funny.
Hold on. And also think about too, like, if you think about the logistical industry, like logistics, it's insane, right? Like how you can order from Amazon, it's at your house the next day, like the crazy interconnected economy of like shipping things around. And this is also just disrupting all of that, right?
I know.
Like, it's like, okay, well, now what do we fucking do? You fucking idiots. I'm so annoyed.
The thing is, he's been impeached. He's impeached. But they never went through with it.
I know.
So I saw some comments on the whole South Korean president being impeached, and people were like, "Oh, so this does actually happen?
Yeah.
So you can actually throw him out of office?"
I'm hoping Trump does.
Bill Clinton also got impeached apparently, and then nothing happened with that.
Oh my God.
And then Trump got impeached, and nothing happened with that. What's the point of the impeachment? So I don't know if this is real. Some people are saying maybe this is fake, but there's a picture of Donald Trump in a casket, and on the back it says April 12th, 2025, the end of an era. And then someone wrote, "The Simpsons have never been wrong." Now, it could be fake.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fake, but crossing my fingers, it's not.
Me too. As bad as that sounds.
I'm sorry, but like, you're a horrible person. I'm not going to shed a tear if you die.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So let's get into Temptation Island.
Temptation Island.
Holy fuck, what a show.
What a fucking show.
Oh my God.
So let's talk about, first of all, I'll tell you the premise.
Yeah. Start with the premise.
So the premise of the show is trashy as fuck.
Yeah.
So basically, you have 4 different couples. They're heterosexual couples, and they're... Can we also talk about the one thing that came from Temptation Island? I was like, I need to get to the gym. God damn, fucking hell.
Yeah, but they obviously cherry pick these couples.
It's everyone though. The singles, the couples. I was like, God, how do you get those bodies?
Everybody's like perfect bodies.
Literally. I was like, fuck.
I know.
Anyway, so 4 couples, all like good-looking couples. They all show up on this island, and then the whole purpose is to divide the couples to men and women. And then so there's a male house and a female house.
Yeah.
And then in those houses, they put like 12 or 10 single people of the opposite sex. So in the women's house, there's like 10 guys that are all fucking good looking, jacked, fucking whatever. Yeah. And their job is to tempt the girls or the boys.
Yeah.
And so like, because you're in a relationship, you're obviously not supposed to be tempted.
It's fault of temptation.
Yes. But that's like the whole task. And then like every few days or so, they go to this like bonfire where they watch a tiny little snippet
of their significant other.
Of what's going on in the other house.
Yeah.
And they see kind of what's going on. And then after like a few weeks or a few days or whatever, they end up reuniting, and then they can decide if they want to leave the island with the person they came with, so like keep the relationship, or if they want to leave alone, aka break up, or if they want to leave alone and go with someone that they met on the island.
Yeah, and I think it's maybe a week or 2 weeks. I want to say
it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's like I think at the very end. So what happens is like every maybe couple of days, there's a bonfire check-in. Yeah. where you see your significant other, and then there's like an opportunity after like a few bonfires to send your significant other a 30-second video, like either explaining your behavior or like talking about how you're feeling about the experience. And then you can choose. So like, let's say me and Rose went on, right? I could, and Rose was sending me a video or I was sending her a video.
Are you the straight man in this relationship? Okay.
I was just giving an example. But you can actually choose also to not send a video, right? And that sends its own message. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And then at the very end, there's a reunion bonfire where the couples then get together.
Yes, and that's when they decide.
Yeah, that's when you have the three ones. Leave with each other, leave by yourself, or leave with someone that you met on an island.
Goddamn. So let's go through the couples.
Oh my God.
So first of all, what a trashy show. Because, okay, first of all, if you decide to go on the show, I'm sorry, your relationship probably most likely doomed.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't understand why you would ever want to put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you already are like distrustful of your partner, because obviously this comes from some level of like distrust.
Of course.
Right? It's like, why do you need to put yourself in that position to prove?
Well, a lot of the couples, actually, and you're right, a lot of the couples weren't there. Actually, two specifically, we'll go into all the couples, but two of them I recall specifically were in there because the women did not trust their men. And they were like, look, we're going to go to this temptation island and we're going to either be stronger because you're not going to be tempted. You're going to prove to me that you're not going to fool around, and then we'll leave together. Or you cheat with me, cheat on me. We'll see what happens. But I feel like two couples specifically, that was like the main reason for them going.
Because the men had cheated.
Of course.
Before.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I know. It's crazy.
It's like, oh my God, you cheated on me before, but I need you to prove that you won't cheat on me again. So let me bring you to an island where there's a bunch of hot people that are going to be putting their ass in your face.
Yeah.
And you have to just like not do anything about it.
Exactly. I felt like two couples, that was a main thing for their thing. The other couple, it was like the guy was unsure because he was like, the girl had made him feel like he was a second choice. And when they first...
that was so stupid. I hated all the men. Just, spoiler, I hate all the men.
Yeah. I think the spoiler in this, I realized from watching this show, and I'm a man myself, obviously.
You're not a straight man. It's different.
I was just like, how fucking shitty are these guys? Like, I was like...
They're so shitty.
Blown away.
Everyone hates them.
Oh my God, it was bad.
I also don't even like Lino that much.
I kind of, but then
I don't know.
We'll
talk about it.
He was the lesser of the four evils.
Exactly. Lesser of the four evils.
But then and then there was the final couple, which I don't remember if the guy had cheated on her before, but they were just like not in a good place in relationship wise, and like
which couple?
It was that blonde girl.
Tyler?
And Tyler.
Okay, so there's Tyler and Taylor. I think Tay and Tyler.
Yeah.
So that's the blonde girl and the fucking mediocre man.
Yeah.
That has no job. Like, all the fucking guys have no fucking job. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Women, like, get your shit together. Like, blame the women. Like, what are you doing with these men to begin with?
It's true.
Anyway, so they were already toxic as fuck from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, that couple. Like, already doomed.
Yeah.
And then there was Shante and Brion.
Yeah.
The black couple that... Oh, God. We'll get into it. Man... Okay, first of all, this man was so obsessed with the idea of threesomes. I was like, are you okay? Like,
it was crazy.
Like, why are you so obsessed with it? Like, I don't even understand. Like, why does it have to be three?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need a fucking extra person? Like,
I mean,
what is the thing in your head?
Exactly. And everyone's got their kinks and stuff, right? But like, it's like, come on, like, calm down a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Not everything has to be about a fucking threesome.
And if you have a kink, go explore it with someone that has a kink. There's plenty of people that have kinks.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand. They met at church.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers, they met at church.
Of course they did.
And Shante, you are also to blame for dealing with that man.
Shante, you're on my hit list. Not like, because the thing is, I was rooting for her the whole fucking time. And she almost got there. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyway.
Okay, so well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
so there's Shante and Brion.
Yeah.
And then there was Grant and Ashley. Grant is a piece of motherfucking work.
He is like the biggest piece of shit.
Like, he is the biggest piece of shit.
He was him and Brion.
Wax figure looking motherfucker.
I know. Him and Brion were like neck for me as the shittiest two.
I know.
Like, seriously.
I think I hate Grant more.
Oh, yeah.
At least with Brion, he had some like childhood trauma. So I'm like, okay. I'm kind of recognizing he has a bit of trauma.
And it felt like he had a little bit of growth. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit. Okay. And then the final couple.
Who's the final? Lino and what's her face? The boring couple. The Asian girl.
The Asian chick's name.
God, what's her name? Hold on, let me find it.
Pull it up, Roses, because yeah. So, oh my God.
I don't even know why they're on the fucking show.
I know. Well,
it's probably to get famous. Let's be honest.
Of course.
Yeah. Alexa.
Yeah.
So Alexa. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah. Alexa
So let's get over talking about Alexa and Lino for a second here.
Okay. So basically, Alexa and Lino, this is the main reason they were there, at least from their
And I
discussions.
think they were the longest relationship.
They were.
Which, by the way, another point.
Yeah.
A lot of these couples, so they were together for 3.5 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is like, pretty long relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas the other couples literally were like a year and a half. I'm like, you're already this like questioning your relationship.
Toxic.
This toxic. You're already cheating on each other after a year and a half. Just end it.
I know.
It's not, like, you have nothing to lose even.
Yeah.
There's not even a sunk cost. A year, like you can move on.
I know exactly. Just get
What are you doing?
move the fuck on. So yeah, Alexa and Lino. So the whole premise as to why they said that they were on the show, right? So Alexa, she's like a businesswoman. She's like, they travel a lot for her job, like in different cities. And Lino has kind of just followed along. Now, when they first started dating, Lino had commented and was like, Alexa, like at the first, before they became like quote unquote exclusive, she was like kind of seeing two guys. And then she ended up with Lino in the end, but he always just felt like the second choice. So Alexa is like she's like more ready to get married and all this sort of thing. But Lino was the one that was like on the fence about
Well,
it.
apparently in the beginning, she told both guys that they were exclusive.
Oh, right.
It was
Okay.
a little shady on her part.
Right. Yeah.
But also, like, buddy, it's been 3.5 motherfucking years.
Exactly.
Like, I kind of get it, but it's like in the beginning of the relationship, I feel like there should be a little bit of leeway.
And grace.
Like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know how she did it. I don't know what that means to say you're exclusive. Maybe you just told him that you weren't seeing anybody else.
Yeah.
Because that's exclusive, right? Like,
Yeah.
exclusive doesn't mean you call them boyfriend, girlfriend. Exclusive means you're not seeing anybody else. So maybe she just said, just to make him comfortable, oh yeah, I'm not really seeing anybody else. And then later he found out that she was.
Exactly.
I think there's a little grace that needs to be there.
Yeah, and the thing is, the ironic thing is, I thought about this when I found out about this couple and
Yeah.
all the stuff that happened. So the main reason for them being there is for Lino to find out if she's the one and he's not tempted to because Alexa was like, I'm good, like I want
Yeah.
Lino pretty much. And anyway, I think it's ironic, like Lino feeling this way and carrying this drama for 3.5 years about how he's the second choice and he doesn't
Yeah.
feel like because I feel like if it was flipped. And it was a guy that had done this and dated two girls in the beginning and then finally ended up with one of them. And the girl was like complaining
Right.
about being the second choice. He'd be like, get over it. You know what I mean?
Like, get the fuck over it,
yeah.
bitch. It was in the very beginning of your relationship.
Exactly. And that was like years in the past.
Years ago, like, you guys are obviously together. She's obviously in love with you. Like,
Yeah.
why are you so insecure?
Yeah. So
Get
anyway,
your shit together, you stupid shit. He was annoying me from the beginning. Like, she was, anyway, whatever. They're in love, whatever.
and then it was funny because as the show went on with Lino, like he didn't really, to be fair, he didn't really do anything the whole time. He didn't kiss any girls.
There's some, let me know what you think of this, conspiracy.
Okay.
Well, some people are saying that he didn't cheat because, okay, just a spoiler, he's the only one that did not cheat.
Yeah.
But some people were like, well, he didn't cheat because like nobody really wanted to be with him and like he wasn't really that desired.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why there was very little temptation to work with.
Well, and I think with him, I mean, all the guys have their things, but I think with Lino, that like he's a good-looking guy. I think he's good-looking. He's good-looking. He's got a good body. They all have good bodies.
I feel like he has
But
zero charisma.
I know, he's so boring.
Yeah.
Like he literally is like
But
it's like a
maybe
robot to talk to. Like he was just like,
yeah.
hey, yeah, I'm really feeling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, are
And
you?
he kept saying like just weird shit. He's like, yeah, I really feel like I need to test my temptation.
Yeah.
I need to test if I can succumb to temptation because that's the entire point of this experience. Like, I would really like to be tested. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Exactly. It's like, why do you like it? He was so cringy. It was
So crazy.
very, very cringy. Alexa, again, she also didn't really do anything. She
was like literally just immediately the man she was like, oh yeah, we're like best friends. We're like best friends.
I know.
Immediate friend zoning. She was great. She did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, all of the women pretty much did nothing wrong.
None of them did anything wrong.
Exactly. Like,
Other than one that made a mistake at the end.
yeah. And like literally, like the thing is, literally a lot of the women and what had happened is like, it was almost like it wasn't necessarily in a response, but it was kind of like they saw their partners like fucking cheating on them.
Yes.
And then they're like, okay, well, I guess our relationship is over.
Exactly.
Now I'll move on and start doing stuff with other people.
What frustrated me so much about the show was seeing the difference between the two homes and how the women were in the very beginning, right? The men and the women, the way that they behaved was completely different. Like, the men immediately, it's like, oh my God, as soon as the fucking single woman came out, it was like fucking, jaws on the floor, drooling, like, oh my God, how am I going to resist this temptation? I'm like, have you never seen a beautiful woman because she's sitting right next to you?
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're like, immediately as soon as you see a pair of tits that look nice, you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I can keep it in my pants.
Like, it's not that hard to keep it in your pants. Like,
control yourself. What are you? Like a fucking 14-year-old teenager?
oh.
God. And then the women, like, immediately as soon as they get into the house, all they do is think about their boyfriend.
Yeah.
All they do, even to the men that they're with, that they're supposed
They talk about their boyfriend.
They're talking about their boyfriend. They're talking about their relationship. They're having these deep talks. And the men are just fucking doing, like, shots off of someone's tits.
I know, it was crazy.
I was just like, what the fuck? The men are not even thinking about you.
No.
That's what bothered me the most.
I know. That's why, like, I think, honestly, Lino was the lesser of the three evils,
Yes.
or the four evils, because he did kind of, even though he said some weird shit, he was like, I need to test my temptation stuff. He never actually did. Like, he never made out with anyone. I don't think he did any of the body shots. I can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
But he just was very, like, disengaged, like, the whole time. So I think in that way, I was like, okay, I kind of respected him a little bit more than the other guys. Because, like,
it's easy to respect him versus the other guys.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It was like, so anyway, so let's go for Lino and Alexa. So towards the end of the experiment, so there's not that much to talk about.
I did like him more toward the end of the experiment.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like, why are you even here? I don't even understand this.
I do like that he called her parents and was like, hey, like, I want to ask her, I feel good about this now. I want to ask her to marry me. I want to leave with her, obviously. And Alexa the whole time and be like, I'm leaving with him. So long story short, men in the end, they didn't do anything with anyone else and they all fucking married or engaged.
Yeah. And I think what helped was first of all, that island and the producers, they know what they're doing. They like to stir shit up.
Oh yeah, they do.
Because in the bonfire, the first initial bonfire, so basically what happened was Alexa was having this conversation with one of the boys at the, in the house.
Yeah.
And she said, this is how she started the conversation. She's like, oh, I miss him so much. I really need him. And then the part that they cut
I love that
and
part.
put into the bonfire was, oh, I don't need him. I'm just going to do my own thing and start my own business. Like, and so you would think just seeing that part that she's over him, she doesn't want to be with him. But she literally was saying, I wish I was a little bit less dependent on him because I miss him so much.
Yeah.
And then that's what they did. And I was like, look, that's shady as
I know.
fuck.
Because then they would be like, she's like, I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yes.
I don't need him. I don't blah, blah, blah. Right before she said, like, they're
so if he heard that entire conversation,
he would have been fine.
But then he got a bit mad. So I think maybe that's why he was trying to lash out a little bit.
Well, and then they tried to get him back.
Yes.
He was having that conversation with one of the girls at the bar. And he was just like, I'm going to go home, or I'm going to go back to bed because I don't want to, do anything I'm going to regret or something like this.
To be fair, he did say that.
Yeah, I know he did. But at the end of the day, like, he didn't do anything. They were just sitting and having drinks and he left.
Oh, right. So
but then they cut it at that part.
Right.
So then she was like,
I don't know what happened now.
Exactly. Did he go with this girl? And she did ask him at the final bonfire. She mentioned, she was like, I know that, like, there was that thing, like, and he's like, nothing happened.
But usually when they cheat, they do show you.
Exactly. This
so
is true.
they don't really hide, like, the cheating.
Oh, definitely not at all.
So anyways, ultimately he decided to marry her. Yeah. And then so eventually he did propose.
Yeah.
So they got married. So this is the happy ending story.
Yes.
Okay.
So they got a happy ending.
So
other people had happy endings in different ways.
In very different ways. So there was that couple. That was the kind of like, happy ending couple. Yeah. Great, fantastic. And I think what really helped was them sending each other the voice. The video, the 30-second video, and both of them. That like put a little tear in my eye. I'm not gonna lie. They were very sweet. Yeah. Very much like, I love you. I miss you. I'm not gonna do anything else.
Do you think these are legitimately real couples? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, is it all fake, or is it like, are they legitimate couples? Because even the singles that came into the house, sometimes they do cringy stuff.
Oh, they were so cringy.
They just have interviews with them after, and they were like, yeah, like, I'm actually going to leave. I'm not really feeling this person. So it was like, I don't know if they were there also to meet people. I don't know. It's weird.
Come on, Daniel. They were there to get clout and get famous. True. Okay? Like, it's embarrassing, okay? And also, like, can we also talk about how the girls in the men's, like, the single girls in the guy's house, how cringe and pick me and fucking.
Oh, I know.
Just so, and I know that that's like their job is to like tempt.
Yeah.
But it was just so much. Like one of the girls was like, "Hi, my name's Alex." Like, the one that had the threesome with Brion.
Yep.
My name's Alex, and my guilty pleasure is sucking dick.
All the guys were like, whoa.
That is, I'm sorry, like, is your name Pick Misha? Because fuck me. Like, that is the most pick-me cringe thing I've ever heard in my
I know
life.
that. Was she the like? She was like kind of look half Asian. Is that the girl?
Yes.
And then she was like at one point, she's like, I'm just a really sexual person. Like I have friends, but like we just end up. Because like
Brion's like, yeah.
I know, and then she's like, I'm just a very sexual. Me and Brion had so much sexual chemistry, and like, we're just like so sexual and like just sex and sexual. And I was just like, oh my god,
like all the girls were just like fucking doing like giving lap dances, taking shots up and down, like fucking giving them hickeys, like just like, and I know that's like, I guess that's how you're supposed to tempt them in, but like, just cringe, like come on, like I don't want to be slut shaming, but like, have a little self-respect.
Oh my god.
And then like the audacity of some of these girls to like act like they're like, oh my god, like what, like that girl that was with Grant, the one that Grant, like Natalie or whatever, her name's Natalie.
Yeah.
So she was like the other girl in the house, like the single girl, and she was just all over Grant, just fucking whatever. And then as soon as he like tried to play some kind of game, she was like, I don't play these games. I'm like, bitch, you're on a game show.
You're on a game
and
show.
And you're trying to steal someone's man.
Exactly.
So what do you mean you don't play any games? You are there playing a fucking game right now.
Exactly. This is another thing too. It's like, I'm sorry, but even for all those girls that were in the house, like meeting these guys, who wants to leave with one of these guys that is literally leaving their girlfriend for you after their girlfriend brought them on an island to test them to see if they would cheat and leave them? Like,
so it's like, oh my god, we're looking for love. Bitch, you're not looking for love. Like,
I know,
love.
it's crazy.
Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Wait, so that was that couple.
Yeah. So then next, let's go to Tyler and Tay.
Okay, we're talking about Tyler and Tay. So what do you think?
So Tay, I think, really, like, she seemed like a nice girl or whatever, but she had a lot of demons that she was dealing with. Because remember, she had a lot of breakdowns and a lot of like, I think she was dealing with a lot of emotion. Like, she kept being like, I'm not good enough. Like,
she was very insecure.
Yeah, I really feel like she needed like a strong therapy session, self-love, all this kind of stuff.
How old are these people? I need to find out.
I think they were in their like later 20s. Because I know like some of them were later 20s, some of them were like early 20s. I think there's a couple that were 30 as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Tyler and Tay, and Tyler was just a piece of shit. Like, he reminded me of one of these like skeezy, slimy guys that like believed the lies that came out of his mouth. Like, he was like, yeah, I need to do this for her because and I'm just like, the whole time I'm like, you're such a skis. Like, he reminded me of like, I don't know, like a used car salesman or something. Like, just,
yeah, I don't know. Something about him just something rubbed me the wrong way.
And the girl, he ends up dating a girl in the house that looks exactly like Taylor. Basically.
And I saw a video of his ex-wife, who also is a blonde and looks exactly like her.
Like, he has some demons that he needs to deal with as well. Yeah. And he needs to take a step back and not fuck around with these girls.
Then the way that they talked, especially Tyler, was basically like, as soon as the woman like praised them and like, because obviously, here's the thing. When you're in a relationship for long term, although some of these people, it wasn't even that long, but anyway,
like a year.
Like, you build up this resentment because then you start to, like, obviously, like, you know each other in a different way than like, when you're on a fucking island with a bunch of naked people that you just met, and all you do, like, the deepest thing you do is go into a hot tub and have a conversation with a margarita in your hand. So, yeah, of course you're gonna have a great time with these fucking 22-year-olds, you know, like, fucking, that are trying to get famous.
Well, also, Rose, some of the deepest things you do are in a shower as well.
We'll get to that. Okay, so I got their ages. So Tyler was 27, Taylor was 30.
Okay.
So she was a bit older. So I do think, like, maybe based on these, like, relationships, maybe that's why she was, such low self-respect.
Yeah, well, she also said because Tyler, literally, he was married for, like, 5 years or something, and then him and his wife split up, and then he went straight, and, like, 2 weeks later was in a relationship with her.
He's a chronic dater.
Yeah, he, like, and then now, she's like, you came on an island to see, test this relationship, and now you're going off with another girl.
Basically on the day of.
Yeah. Like, it was crazy. And the funny thing is, too, is she knew, like, immediately, because she saw the lineup of the girls, and she's like, oh, I know who he's going to pick.
And you know what's funny? He picked somebody else, I think, just to test her, and this was, like, that was kind of shady. He picked a black girl. Yeah. Just to, like, I think it was just a test.
Oh, yeah, she was like, whoa.
Because she was like, whoa. I thought she was going to pick the blonde girl for sure. And he ended up doing that.
I know.
So it was just to throw
he was playing games.
He was playing games.
Not fuck her.
Yeah. So he, like, basically fell in love with some girl initially.
And that girl was really annoying.
Like, oh, she was so annoying. She's like, oh my god, can you, like, show me your room? Like, I'm going to see what your room looks like.
Yeah.
I want to see your room.
Can we go in the tent? Oh my god, let's get the red light to go on.
Yeah, like, oh my god, I think you're so awesome and so great. First of all, I think she was, like, younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume she was younger because I would hope that someone a bit older would have a little bit more decency.
She was very picky energy.
Oh my god. She was like pick me shot number 2.
I know.
Like, don't be so pick me.
But I was like, I feel like she was definitely putting on an act for the show. Right?
Oh,
Like,
for sure. Oh my god. I've never worked out before. Can you show me how to do it?
oh my god. I was like, oh my
And then
fucking
he
god.
was just eating it right now.
Oh.
He was like, she's making me feel like a man finally. Because like obviously like Taylor, like she was nagging him a bit because
Yeah.
they're living together. Apparently he wasn't like putting the toilet seat down, like all kinds of shit.
Yeah, she's like, was like, little, and he doesn't have a job.
He doesn't have a job, so she's been like, oh no, they weren't. I don't know if they were living together, but obviously they spent time together in the house.
And she was like, he's not getting his shit together. She's like, even like little things. She's like, you think because he's not contributing, he'd at least put the fucking seat down?
Yeah.
She's like, I mean, it's been a year and a half, and he's still doesn't fucking do it. Like,
Yeah.
because it's because he really just doesn't give a shit. He's like one of those guys that's just like,
exactly.
whatever. And he was so good at like trying to manipulate the situation. He always just doesn't have like calm and collected voice where you just slap him. I was
You
gonna tell
really
you.
did it like
Oh
that.
my god, I hate it.
I mean, I hate all the men on this
Yeah.
show. Anyway, so that was that. So,
yeah.
A little tea. So they didn't do like a proper official reunion, which I was like, God, I would have loved to.
Oh my god, I wanted a reunion for this.
But there's this podcast called the Nick Vile Files or whatever,
Yeah.
where this guy like tells about relationships and stuff. I think he was on like The Bachelor like back in the day.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has a podcast, and they invited all of them to do like an unofficial reunion.
Oh my god.
Turns out Tyler is now dating, so that relationship didn't work out.
Of course.
So he already didn't think it was gonna. So Tyler asked for that new girl, Kay, was it?
Yeah.
God, they're all the same person, aren't they? Kay, Tay, Tyler.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Anyway, so he asked her to leave the island with him.
Yeah.
But apparently, that morning of, you know how they spent that final night together?
Yeah.
She had told him what she does for a living, which is OnlyFans. And then he didn't like that, which is fair. You know what? That's fair. But also, I'm like, what do you think these people do?
Exactly.
They're parading around half naked on a show, on a reality show. It is most likely they're doing OnlyFans because, like, why else would you not be?
Yeah.
A lot of them are having sex on camera, basically, because, like, you can't see it, but you can hear it. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Definitely hear it.
So, anyway, she told him, and he was, like, not okay with that, but he didn't want to, like, you know, because obviously people didn't see his reaction to that or whatever.
Yeah.
So then he just didn't want to like change the narrative and like randomly say like, no, I'm just leaving it low. So he left with her, but they were never together.
Okay.
And of course, like a few months later, he has a new girlfriend that looks exactly like him.
Oh my god, it's crazy. Like this guy needs to take a break from dating and focus on himself.
Exactly. He's focused on getting a job, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that was Tyler and Tay.
Yeah.
And Tay left by herself. She was really good about it. She had a lot of growth. Yeah.
At least based on what she was saying. So basically what happened was with them. So like basically from day one, he was like touching her, cuddling with her, and that was already in their boundary of like not doing what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Which again, like, here's my take. It's like if you are on the show and your man is immediately like, oh, I'm so tempted, but I can't do it because of the boundary.
Yeah.
It's like that's already cheating on me because just like it's like I'm sorry. It shouldn't take just that physical action to be like worth the cheating aspect. Because like for me, it's like immediately as soon as my man's like, oh yeah, oh my god, like I'm so like, oh like dying, fucking drooling, fucking like mouth on the ground. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you enjoy yourself?
Yeah.
Like fuck this. Because if you shouldn't have to have so much restraint.
100%. 100%.
If you're in love with me, if you want to be with me in a monogamous relationship, it shouldn't take that much.
No.
You know, so all the men immediately were just like, oh, just like dying to cheat.
Yeah.
They were just dying.
It was, but Tyler still wasn't the worst out of all of them.
No, I know, believe it or not.
Because like with him and his girl, I think it was a little bit before they ended up fucking. I think it was.
I don't know.
They just made out.
They probably did fuck at some point, but like in the last night or whatever. It wasn't shown on camera.
Yeah.
But basically by like the second bonfire, I think he was already like done. He was checked out completely.
Yeah.
He didn't even think about his girlfriend.
Which is crazy.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, and then this is when she had the kind of meltdown in the campfire where she was like, everyone leaves me.
Yeah.
Nobody loves me. Like everyone just leaves. So she definitely needs some like, maybe she went to therapy.
But I like that the show host actually pulled her aside at one point.
Yes,
He's like,
he was
you're
pretty
in.
good.
Yeah. And
Everyone likes the show host.
Yeah. He's actually really good at his
He
job.
should be doing Love is Blind.
Oh my god, he should. Because he actually like, he'd put the guys on the spot sometimes, but like in a nice way.
Yeah, very gentle way.
Very gentle. And then with the women, he was like trying to, especially when they're having like emotional breakdowns and stuff, he's like trying to build them back
He
up.
was very good at it.
So I think he was like really good at he was actually awesome. And
Taylor was ended up I think she had the most growth within the show.
Yeah.
Because she was very much like so devastated, so upset. She thought everybody leaves her, but by the end she was very much like, I'm going to choose myself. Like
I love that.
And she was very like strong in that, which I really liked.
So that was Tyler and Tay. So who should we move on to next?
I mean, it's a toss-up
It is
here.
because they're both fucking crazy. Should we do Grant and Ashley?
Sure. So Grant and Ashley, I'll tell you the ages. They were 28 and 28.
Yeah,
Okay.
so same age. So Grant, the reason they're on the show, right? Ashley says to us, early on in their relationship, Grant had cheated.
Of course.
And then
He just looks like a cheater. I
my
knew.
God, he's such
As
a
soon
fucking
as I
cheater.
saw his face, I
yeah.
knew he would fucking break.
his look, his everything about him. Anyway, so, and he's not even that good looking. Like, I don't get it.
It's okay. He definitely looks like a skis.
Oh, man.
Like I wouldn't be. I'm not attracted to him.
Yeah.
I think I can see why people are attracted to him, but
Yeah.
he looks like just like a piece of shit.
He does. So anyway, so Ashley,
He kind of looks stupid.
yeah, he does. So Ashley and him were on the show, and he was there to. This is the ironic thing. He was
prove.
there to prove to Ashley, okay, that he wasn't a cheater. He was a changed man. He was only about her, and like that was the reason they went on this fucking show.
Even though he had cheated on his ex-girlfriend or wife, who
Yeah.
he has a daughter with.
Yes, yeah. He's a serial cheater.
Yeah, he's a serial cheater.
Yeah.
And he also already cheated on Ashley. So, like, I do kind of blame Ashley a little bit because
Well,
girl, stand up.
Yeah, and I think the thing too is Ashley had admitted, or he said part of the issue that they had is because he cheated early on, which is still fact. Ashley obviously held resentment and like was not like would be like didn't believe him and had trust issues, which I'm like, of course, obviously.
Yeah. And I'm sure he like chased her down after I think she said that he chased her down after the cheating aspect.
Yeah.
And basically probably love bombed her.
Of course.
Everything.
Of course.
So that's probably why they got back together, because she was like probably heavily manipulated as well.
Oh, 100%. So they go on, and it's crazy. So they get on the show, and the funny thing is, of the girls, when the guys, at the very beginning, when they meet all the singles, the guys have to put like bracelets on the wrist of the person that they want to go on a date with.
Right.
And like Ashley got basically all the bracelets.
She got so many bracelets.
She got so many.
Yeah.
And then the whole time Grant's just like, fuck. Because she, anyway.
She's attractive.
She is. And it was funny because like, I was like, that was kind of a slap in the face for him. And then the interesting, well, not even interesting. The shitty thing is, literally, the second that Grant got into that motherfucking house, he was like, body shots, and then he started like seeing that Natalie girl right away, like
It
within.
was like a kid in a candy store.
I think it was like day 2, or even like
Not even.
that him and Natalie, who he like ended up going on the first date with.
You mean when they?
They ended up fucking in the shower.
Yep.
Literally like a day or two
They
in.
kind of showed it a little, and like you could hear like some noises.
I was like, holy shit. And you could like, it was all steamy in there because
Yeah.
of night vision, but you could see him you saw his
You
butt.
saw his butt.
He like takes off his clothes and goes in there with her, and then you hear moaning. So you're like, okay, well, obviously they're having sex.
Yeah.
So I was like, and also like, but like also on Natalie's side, like you just like, what are you doing? Like you're on TV.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, I feel kind of bad for these people because
Yeah.
like, they're kind of young. Like, I think the single girls are a bit younger.
Yeah, they are.
Than the other ones. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they.
No, Natalie was like 22, I think.
22.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Ride off to the sunset with a 22-year-old?
Exactly.
Like, be realistic here.
But anyway, so like literally within like day 2.
Oh, they're done.
It's crazy. And then at the bonfire, obviously, and this up until this point, right? Ashley like was like very like about Grant. She was like
She's thinking about him the whole time.
exactly every time she went on dates with guys, she would like talk to them. She had some kind of minor connections, but she was like mostly like talking about Grant and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And then she's like, something's telling me like, God, like I'm not feeling good about this bonfire.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. They show the video of him in the shower with Natalie, and this was like the first fucking bonfire. I think it was the first or maybe second. And she was
It was
like,
the second bonfire.
yeah, she was like, at that point, she's like, okay, well, it's done. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is the reason we came on this show was to prove that you're not a cheater, and like you fucking cheated on me. Like,
My favorite was her reaction though, because she literally was like, "I'm just relieved."
yeah,
Because I kind of knew this would. She's like, I knew this would happen, and I just got my confirmation,
Yeah.
so now I can move on. I was
exactly.
Like, yes.
She's like, I'm done with it. And she
Yeah.
actually, I have to say, when she had that moment and she saw Grant and she said she was relieved and everything, she stayed true to that the entire fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
She didn't send him a video.
Yes.
She didn't even like when they went to the final bonfire, she was like, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah.
Like she was like very like she was done. Like
Yeah.
obviously they talked about him cheating early on in the relationship, but I guarantee you there was other things that happened later in the relationship where she was suspicious of cheating.
Sure.
And but didn't have confirmation, and now this was like, okay,
This is
fuck you.
confirmation.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like the thing is, some people are like, oh, well, we'll talk about Brion in a second, but like basically some of the guys were like, oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't do this in the real world. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how do I know? Because you did it in front of cameras, knowing I will see it.
Yes.
in this island. So how do I know what you're doing behind closed doors?
Exactly. Like, you're
So,
probably doing more stuff.
Exactly. So, like, that is such bad logic.
I know.
But what's funny about Grant is, like, oh my God. So he did that. He had shower sex with Natalie.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, he's like, fucking, I don't know if I'm still thinking about Ashley. I don't know if we're going to make it out here. Like, I really want to make it work with Ashley. I really want to like propose to her. Maybe I can marry her one day. And then they showed that in the bonfire, and all the girls just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking stupid?
I know.
You literally had shower sex.
I know.
And then you're like, oh my God, like, it's literally like you unloaded.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I have a moment of clarity.
Yeah.
Oh, I must get back with Ashley.
What do they call that? Post-nut clarity.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Literally, it was like the prime example of like, oh my God. So like, literally, you fucked this girl without any fucking second thought.
No.
And then afterwards, he's like playing the guitar about how he shouldn't have done what he did.
Oh my God, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And you know that Ashley's been through this ring around many times.
Exactly.
And she was over it. She like just needed that confirmation. But the thing that really, I mean, Grant just pissed me off in general the whole time. But the thing that really pissed me off is when he recorded that video for Ashley. And in the video, he's like, I forgive you.
Oh,
her.
yeah.
And she's like,
He kept saying that.
he kept saying that he forgave her and I forgave her or whatever. And it's like, he's like, I also forgive myself. And, all this bullshit. Like, as if he's like talking about some like, it's like they all smoked something and we're in this fucking higher, moment of clarity. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
What do you mean you forgive yourself? You've barely like reflected on what you did.
I know. And then, the only thing that I give Grant a little bit of credit for, I still think he's a motherfucking piece of shit, is the fact that he left the island alone. Because he did say, because he was going to go with, like, he's with Natalie and stuff.
Right.
He said at the very end, he's like, I need to do some, like, self stuff. Which I'm like, okay, fair enough. You learned that after fucking over Ashley and doing all this bullshit.
He didn't learn shit.
I know. But he did say that he's not leaving with anyone. He's going to go off and...
I guarantee you, though, so Ashley decided to leave with one of the connections that she met.
Yeah.
And then he got, like, fucking started crying. Here's the thing. So the motherfucking man cheats.
Yeah.
Acts like all this shit. And the thing he holds on to is the fact that she was like, oh, the universe gave me a piece of shit man.
Yes.
Like, oh my God,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is the worst thing ever.
Well,
A piece of shit man.
This is the thing that was so funny about that. Sorry to cut you off there,
Yeah, no, it's fine.
but it was in the first bonfire that they showed this video to Grant, and it was Ashley being like, why didn't I, like, the universe gave me this piece of shit man, blah, 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 blah. And then that was like Grant's confirmation that like, go fuck around.
Yeah.
And it's like, nobody, you came on this show to prove to her that you were not a piece of shit man.
Exactly.
So why the fuck are you cheating on her and proving that you are a piece of shit man?
Exactly.
Oh, I'm so
He
annoyed.
was so insecure about that statement. I'm just like, okay, you know what? Like, yeah, sure, she shouldn't have said that. I agree. But also, again, like, they could have added more context.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, okay, you're obviously having issues in a relationship. Sometimes, like, you're going to say things about your partner and, like, say bad things. It's not a good thing.
Exactly.
These things happen. That's nowhere near what you did.
I know.
And then he held on to that resentment
Oh my God.
for the entire time. And then he would get so upset anytime Ashley would do anything with the man.
I know.
And it was like not even anything close to what
I know.
he did.
She like all she did was kiss one of the guys after Grant had cheated on her, and she was like, "Okay, this relationship is done. I'm done with this guy now. I'm not in a relationship anymore." Then all she did is kiss one of the guys. I don't know if they maybe hooked up on the last day. I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
But either way, at that point, her relationship was over. She was like, "Fuck you, man. You're a piece of shit." And they just saw one video of her like with that guy maybe kissing or something, and he was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you fucked a chick in the shower like the second day.
And at the end, when he said he was going to go home alone, and she said, I'm going to leave with one of my connections, I guarantee you, if she went first and he went second, he would have said he's leaving with Natalie.
100%.
So he thought she was going to leave alone.
Yes.
But
and then
as soon as
he could probably try to weasel his way back in.
Exactly. And then as soon as she said she was leaving with someone else, he was like, oh, despair. I'm like, bitch, you had shower sex.
I know.
And you went into the fucking house, the no camera house multiple times.
But I forgive you. I forgive you. It's
I
like,
yeah, she was like, I don't know what you're forgiving me for because I didn't do anything wrong.
yeah, exactly, which is true.
But the sad part is, I'll tell you, the after
They didn't get back together, did they?
So they got back together briefly.
Yeah.
And then, like, basically, they're broken up now.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, he probably, like, manipulated his way back.
100%.
And then the Natalie girl had the audacity to be like, yeah, so we were kind of together for a bit. And then he cheated on me with Ashley. And I was like, What?
Like,
Anyway, whatever. So now they're fully broken up, like whatever. So yeah, that's them.
okay, and then the last couple.
Diabolical. Brion
and Shante.
and Shante.
Oh my God, there's so much here to unpack. But
So let's talk about it.
okay, do you want to start? Why
You start.
So the reason they're on the show. So Shante and Dion. Shante's a very Brion, sorry, yeah. Shante's a very she's a very sweet. She seems like a very sweet girl. She's very but we'll talk about why that's a problem. So she's this really sweet, kind of like mousy, bubbly. And
She's to manipulate, probably.
Yeah, she's obsessed with Brion, loves him. They had this deep emotional connection. The issue that they're having in their relationship is that Brion is a quote unquote very sexual person who's obsessed with fucking threesomes, and Shante doesn't want to have a threesome. It's not that she doesn't want to have sex. Apparently their sex life is really good. That's what they were saying. When it's just the two of them.
Right.
But Brion is always wants to have a threesome.
God.
And then anyway, so they came on this island, and he was the reason because that was causing so much tension in their relationship. And they're on this, and also he's very much a flirt with women. He's always he has a lot of girlfriends, and he flirts with them all the time, and this makes Shante very uncomfortable.
Did he ever cheat?
I can't remember if he actually cheated or if he's just very over the top.
Yeah.
I think there's suspicion that he's cheating. Maybe he did. I can't remember. Well, he did it. He did it
Probably
eventually.
He did eventually.
Yeah. And the thing with them is they came on this show. Shantae's very much in love with him. She didn't really date anyone on the show the whole time. She went on casual dates with more friends, kind of like Alexa.
She was fully thinking about Brion the whole time.
The entire time.
That was the entire. This is why sometimes I'm like, ladies, go have some fun. I'm not saying cheat on your man.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be all about them. It was so frustrating to see all the women obsessing over their man. That's all they could think about, and the men were not even thinking about their women.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh.
So with Shante, she was like, oh my God. She was like, they came on the show because Brion needs to prove to her that he isn't this super sexual person, and that he loves her, and that he's not going to quote unquote cheat on her, and that he's just his flirtatious way with women is him just being friends with them.
Right. Oh yeah. The whole point was that he wanted to prove that he could just be friends with women.
Yes. Perfect, right? And we made music great. So one of the girls in the Temptation House, right? So again, Brion's one of the guys that as soon as he got in there, body shots, fucking
immediately
flirting with
dying.
Oh yeah.
He's just itching to get into that house.
Oh yeah, flirting with all the girls, really player kind of vibes. And then a couple of the girls are that one girl, I think her name was Alex, I want to say.
Yeah, Alex, the girl that says she likes to suck dick.
Yeah, the sucking dick one. She was just so overly sexual and all that. And her and this other girl came up with this plan because they were like, oh, we know that he can't resist a threesome. So basically, both went into his bathroom with him, right? And then they closed the door, and apparently there's no camera in that bathroom because you could only see from the outside.
Well, there probably is a camera, but they
maybe couldn't show it.
They couldn't show the footage.
Yeah. And then you start hearing the girls, and then he goes... But first he goes, yeah, I actually like to watch first for a bit before. You get involved, and then you hear... And then at some point, the door, the door opens, and one of them's butt naked.
Yeah. And he has a towel around his waist.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, the birds are out. And it's daytime or something.
They've been fucking all night.
Yeah. And then, this is the craziest part. This is the craziest part of the whole motherfucking show.
Yeah.
He gets onto the camera, and he says, you know what?
I have no regrets.
I have no regrets because, hear me out here, guys. I got it out of my system. This whole time, this threesome was hanging over my relationship, and it was always in the back of my mind. Now that I've finally got it out of my system, I realized Shante is who I want, and I don't care about the fucking threesomes anymore. It's a thing of the past. Blah, blah, blah.
But that wasn't even his initial full-on reaction. So his initial reaction was, I have no regrets. Mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe he did say I got it out of my system, but he didn't really, he was like, yeah, I know that Shante is just going to understand because, she's a good woman. She's going to forgive me. She's going to take me back.
Yep.
She's not going to leave me no matter what. And unfortunately, that was...
I know, and I was so fucking angry.
I know.
Because Shante saw the video, right?
She saw the video.
And she was obviously crying and emotional, and she was feeling, at first she was kind of stone-faced.
Yeah.
And then people were
she was stone-faced kind of the whole time.
I know. And then there was a couple times she started crying, and she's like, this is supposed to be the father of my children. What if my children see this? How can I explain this to them?
Great question.
I know. She's
Do you have an answer?
No. And she was like, we came on this show for him to prove that he wouldn't do this kind of stuff, and then he did it. Like, I just don't understand. Like, and she kept saying, I need to understand the reason why he did it. I'm like, bitch, there doesn't need to be a reason.
Exactly.
He did it. Leave your
You
man.
had a boundary. What's the point of having a boundary if he crosses it so fucking far?
And also, it was like within day 2 as well.
Yeah, it was
like
fast. It was quick.
It was like they wasted no time.
I almost feel like he wanted to bring her on the show so he could go and have his threesome fantasy and do it. And because he knew ultimately she's going to take her back.
And this is a part that pisses me off so much because at the final bonfire, so Brion, he like reflected and was like,
oh no, this will happen. So before that, so basically she saw that video, and then obviously there was a week again where he saw her reaction kind of, and I can't remember what they filmed, but I think he got a little scared that she might actually break up with him.
That he definitely did.
Yeah, he got a bit scared because
she was like,
say something.
Yeah, I think that they filmed a scene where she was like bawling and she was like, she's like, I can't believe he did this. How am I supposed to explain this? We were supposed to have our kids together.
Something like this.
I think it was that scene.
So something basically happened where it looked like she may leave him.
Yeah.
And then he got scared.
Yes.
Suddenly, he's a changed man.
Yes.
Suddenly, he's reformed. Oh my God, all I want is Shante. I don't want anybody else. I've learned so much. I've grown so much. I'm going to start talking about my childhood trauma.
Yes.
I mean, I do empathize with him a bit in there. But also, like, why wasn't this ever talked about before?
Exactly.
Like,
I feel like the only reason is because now there's a potential consequence.
Exactly. So before
that, there wasn't.
Right after he did the thing, he thought there would be no consequence. I don't know what kind of fucking brain you have. But clearly he was right.
I know.
So he thought there'd be no consequence. He thought she would stay with him no matter what. They just have to talk about it and it'll be fine. But then all of a sudden it looks like she might leave him, so he starts freaking out and panicking. Yeah. Suddenly he's all for her.
Exactly.
Obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Doesn't want anything.
I'm not going to do anything else with any other women. Even though after that he didn't do anything, but he was still flirty with a few of them.
Yeah, and then even the girls were like, I don't want to go on a date with you because you're really disrespectful.
Yeah. I love that one girl. She's like, I don't want that. I mean, she's like, you know what? You disrespected your woman. Like, I can't believe you had a threesome on national TV. Like, that's actually crazy. Like, and then he was just like, oh, like actually gave her a hard time about it. And she was she's like, no, I don't want to do this. But then ended up dating with him anyways.
So at the end, at the bonfire, now you can go to the final bonfire.
No, I was like screaming at the TV, guys, because at the first point, and this is where I'm like, okay, so I felt like Shante at some point, at first she was like, I knew in my heart of hearts, even though it did seem like she was going to leave him towards the end, because she kept getting more and more mad about the situation. She kept being like, again, how am I going to explain this to my kids? Blah, 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 blah. But in my heart of hearts, she kept saying, I need to understand the reason. She kept saying, I need to understand why he did it. And I'm like, because she kept saying that,
there's nothing to understand.
I know, but it made me think in my mind, I'm like, she's going to forgive him.
Right.
Because she has compartmentalized and just needs to know the reason.
Right.
And then she'll be fine, right? So anyway, in my heart of hearts, I knew that. But in my brain, I was like, please.
Yeah.
And then at the bonfire, she does start with, I'm going to leave by myself.
Yes.
She's like, I'm going to leave. And obviously, Brion's like, oh my God, like starts like, getting all emotional.
And then he starts and he was good at it.
Oh, he is smooth.
He was manipulative. He was saying like all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what he said.
I know, but it was
very convincing. It was. I think if you're young and you're in love, like that could be convincing.
100%.
He was like saying all this kind of fluffy, smooth stuff. And then at the end,
she changed her mind.
Shante, I'm going to need you to stand up.
Stand around. Do not. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, but like, you literally, with Brion and Shante, you brought your man onto a show, okay?
That was the entire point. What was
exactly.
the point of the show?
To see if he could be friends with women, that he, maybe he cheated on you in the past or didn't, or there's suspicion that he's cheated on you in the past. So you bring him on this TV show.
He wanted to go on the show.
Yeah. To prove this, right? To prove that he was a good man. He's a church-going man. He won't cheat on his woman. And he, like, within a day or two, fucking cheats on her on national television.
Yeah.
And he knows that she's going to see it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way in your mind you're thinking, I'm getting away with this. Like, you're on a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
And you still forgive him. Like, no, that's done.
Why'd you agree on the show?
Exactly.
Because, like, wasn't the whole point to see that he won't do it? So if he did it, is there no consequence?
That's just crazy. It was crazy to me. Please tell me that when they did the podcast, they weren't still together, or are they?
They didn't go on the podcast. Because they had a scheduling issue. But guaranteed they didn't want to be fucking,
They didn't want to be in the heat.
Yeah, because they would have been in the moment.
Oh, yeah. Shante would have been like, people would be like, why did you take your man back?
Yeah.
I'm sure she already feels it.
Oh, 100%. Everyone's like, fuck this couple.
I know, but it's like, come on. Like, just see Brion for who he is. And you know what? Maybe he had a little bit of self-growth at the end, allegedly. Who knows if that's legit or it's just because he was scared of losing her. But take it fact for fact. Your man cheated on you on national television.
On international television, on Netflix.
Exactly. On a show that he wanted to go on to prove to you that he wouldn't do it. So, like, all that said, that's done. Like, you need to be like Ashley.
Yeah.
I mean, Ashley got back together with Grant, but then they split up again anyway. But fucking cut it off.
It's so annoying. And I love how he's like, oh, it's out of my system now. It's not that great. How do you fucking know?
I
Like,
know,
what about
exactly.
the next hot girl that walks by?
Exactly. It's out of my system now.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, the day after, of course it is, because
Yeah.
you fucking, got yourself off.
Exactly. Well, and what happens when a new load builds up?
Exactly. Oh, it was so frustrating. And I'm like, and people are like, yeah, your friends and family literally saw your man cheat on you
And you took it
with
back.
very little, not even an ounce of remorse.
Nope.
And then you took it back.
Just like he said he would.
Just like he said you would.
I hate to say it though, like Shante, I think she's a really sweet woman. She's really nice, but she's a doormat.
She is 100. And like, even like the way he was talking about her in the beginning when they first got to the house, he was like, yeah, I wish like she's like so loyal to me. She loves me so much. And like, I just wish she would have a life of her own. Like, she doesn't really have anything going on. And I'm like, girl, this is the problem.
Yes.
He thinks that you're a doormat because you kind of fucking are.
Well, and you are.
You don't have a life of your own. You're obsessed with your man. All you do is like probably stick by his side.
Yeah.
And you don't have a life of your own. All you do is think about him. All you do is care for him. It's like, you need to have a life of your fucking own.
It's almost like she's a Trump cult follower. You know, literally Brion could kill a fucking child,
Oh,
and she would stand by her man.
God, it's so like,
It's wild. Like, I just know if I went on there with my partner and my partner did that,
even if he obviously like he wants to like, he wants to get back, I'd just be like, you know what, at least just to stand your ground for that one moment, just say you're gonna break up, maybe have a conversation later if he wants to.
On TV at least.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my
Your
god.
daughter, your future fucking kids are gonna see this.
I know, and like think about it.
I mean, hopefully they don't have kids, they break up.
I know. Hopefully they do break up and she's with someone new. But like the fact of the matter is, if they end up getting married and have kids, like their kids are going to see the show eventually. Because obviously you would see it, right?
Yeah,
You'd be like,
no.
You'd be like, I want to see my parents on this show, and then you watch and you're just like,
Oh no! Do people not think about the consequences of their actions? It's like, you go on the show, you have sex on fucking TV,
yeah,
like cheating, not even just sex. You're cheating on your fucking,
Crazy.
girlfriend, and you're like, okay, well, eventually I'm gonna want children. It's like,
yeah.
do you not think about this?
And then your kids are literally going to, of course, if I found out my parents wanted a TV show, I would 100% look it up. And then if I saw that, I would just be like,
I want to kill myself and gouge my eyes out.
like if my dad was like Grant, I'd be like, fuck my fucking
He
life.
has a kid.
I know.
He has a daughter, for Christ's sake.
And that's the worst part. And you know what crazy is, like, these guys doing this behavior, and then they have daughters, and they're like, their daughters are like daddy's girl, and they're like,
Exactly.
and they like dote on their daughters,
And
and
they're
they're like,
the ones to be like, oh, if you date my daughter, like, I'm gonna, make and overprotective. I don't know why they're overprotective, because they think the men are like you.
exactly. And then they do that shit to the women that they're with anyway. That's someone else's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
This show fucking made me so mad.
I mean, you need to see the other seasons. Those need to come out on Netflix.
I know. I don't know how to watch them.
Me neither. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully there's a new season soon, because this show makes me so mad. And I hope that some men can redeem the image of the man, because the men's image after that show,
Let me tell
it
you,
ain't looking good.
It was already getting pretty low. It's getting to ground level.
Yeah,
now.
it was diabolical. It was disgusting. It was like, I couldn't believe my eyes. And I just couldn't believe how easily they were just swayed.
Yeah.
It was like a woman just like fucking does a little twerk, and you're like, immediately, okay, let's go to the bedroom.
Yeah. I need to be immediately inside you.
And what kills me is like, not that this should be important, but it was like, all the singles and all the couples were equally attractive.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't like the women that were single were like significantly more attractive than their like girlfriends.
They all were hot.
Exactly. They were all hot. So I'm like, I don't know why you're so like enamored by the new shiny thing.
Yeah.
Because you got a perfectly fine shiny thing next to you.
Exactly.
And also, like, I feel like the men in the house, like, the way that they behaved in the houses were completely different. Like, there wasn't much sexual stuff going on in the men's house.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they did a few dances, a little bit, but like, it was
they were
very
more
much
having like conversations.
I guess they were trying to tempt them in that way. But like, I guess that's how I tempt a woman.
Emotionally attempt them.
Emotionally tempt
Oh, little god dang it.
Anyways, and that positive.
And that causes no men's side. No. Watch the show, guys.
Yeah, watch the show. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought of the show.
Yeah.
If you had the same opinions, if you did not, let us know. Make sure you thumbs up this video if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, or even join our YouTube channel if you want to support us every month and get bonus content, ad-free content, get every episode a week earlier than everybody else, and a little shout out on the show.
Yes. And that's it.
That's it, you guys. Thank you so
Right.
much for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.